Hello. To all our comrades over in Wuppertal in Germany, very happy birthday to Friedrich Engels. See you, comrades.
Friedrich Engels came to Manchester in 1842 at the age of 22 to work in the city centre office of his father's textile firm, which had a mill in nearby Salford. He witnessed firsthand the misery and squalor inflicted upon the working class by industrial capitalism. In 1845, here at Chetham's Library, he spent many hours with Karl Marx. In that year, he wrote the classic text, Conditions of the Working Class in England, applying the historical Marxist method to economic and social development. He described in this book the resistance of workers to exploitation and their willingness to fight back against the employing class. Within 3 years, Engels and Marx had written the Communist Manifesto, a beacon to revolutionaries worldwide, a guide to overthrowing capitalism and establishing socialism to emancipate the working class. The Communist Party still stands for those aims and salutes the memory and life of Friedrich Engels, his commitment to socialism in this his 200th anniversary year.
The 28th of November is the 200th birthday of Friedrich Engels, one of the founding fathers of communism. Born in Bremen, Germany in 1820, he was the eldest son of a wealthy German family of devout Protestants and industrialists. He scandalized his parents with his atheism and radical politics. So, in 1842, when Engels was just 22, his father sent him away to manage one of his mills in Salford in the hope of quashing his rebel spirit. Epic fail. Because the poverty and squalor Engels witnessed among the working people of Salford and Manchester appalled him, and he set about writing an explosive book, The Conditions of the Working Class in England, which is still relevant today. Radical thinker, communist revolutionary, military expert, social critic, hard drinker, but always a gentleman. We owe a huge debt to him and his collaboration with Karl Marx. Happy birthday, Fred. We've still got a world to win.
Hello guys, how are you? This is my contribution to the Friedrich Engels tribute memoriam. I don't really know too much about Mr. Engels, but what I do know is that he was in every double act, you've got a Lennon and McCartney, you've got everything. He was the McCartney to Karl Marx, and he contributed greatly to the publication of the Communist Manifesto, and he also basically was the driving force behind Marxism, and without Engels, I might not be too sure, but possibly Karl Marx wouldn't have been as prominent as what he was today, and then even. Okay, thanks guys, bye-bye.
Hallo Kameraden, hier ist Bora, hallo aus England, hallo aus Manchester. Es ist schade, dass wir diesen verdammten Lockdown haben, sonst würden wir mit euch zusammen in Wuppertal Engels Geburtstag feiern. Aber es gibt keinen Grund, traurig zu sein. Obwohl wir hier sind und ihr da seid, was Engels in Manchester begonnen hat, ist immer noch mit uns hier in Manchester. Wir werden es weiter am Leben halten und feiern. Lang lebe Engels, lang lebe die Revolution.
Greetings from Richard here in the Manchester branch. I'm really proud to have Engels, his association with Manchester, just in terms of his statue, but also as well, a lot of his work, his early work was done in Manchester through his family business in the factory, and a lot of the research was done in places like Salford. Engels obviously was born in Prussia, which is now Wuppertal, and it was equally as important as Marx in coming up with the ideas behind Marxism. in no way was Engels any sort of second fiddle intellectually to Marx. In fact, he was just as important. His book, The Conditions of the Working Class in England, is easily important today as when it was first produced. And unfortunately, there are many parallels between the time that was written and today. And that's why, as communists, we must continue the struggle. So, yeah, proud to live in Manchester, proud to be part of these Engels celebrations.
Comrades, thank you for this invitation. It is an honour and a privilege to send you all warm greetings from the Greater Manchester Communist Party. Engels lived here in Manchester for several decades, the city where his radical philosophies were truly born, the city that became a catalyst for the development of Marxism. At 22, Engels was sent to Manchester by his father to work in the offices of the family mill, something he had hoped might encourage Engels to reconsider his liberal opinions. Instead, Engels studied the slums of Manchester. He observed the dreadful conditions in which the poor lived in, the plight of the overworked labourers, and the horrors of child labour. This served to bolster his economic, social, and political views and cemented his theories about the class struggle taking place in England. Engels met Marx in Manchester and would go on to write the Communist Manifesto together, stemming from his research into the Manchester slums. He also penned the incredibly influential work, The Conditions of the Working Class in England, along with writing in a variety of left-wing journals of the time. Engels also regularly attended the Hall of Science, a place frequented by members of the English Labour and Chartist movements, many of whom belonged to the working class and whose lives had inspired his writings. Of course, Engels was sent to Manchester to work in the family mill, working in a capitalist environment by day and as a social investigator and co-founder of Marxism by night. His life appeared to be somewhat of a contradiction. He's often been described as leading a double life. When Engels returned to Manchester for a second time in 1850, he worked for his family business begrudgingly, again, only using it as a means of funding Marx's research and writing of Das Kapital. Other than the socialist countries where Engels has received due recognition for his work, many historians have failed to clarify his significant role. So in sending solidarity greetings on the occasion of his bicentenary, the Manchester branch remain committed to our belief that Engels' contribution was indeed vital in shaping world history and the development of Marxist theory. Thank you. For peace and socialism, long live international solidarity.
In the spirit of international solidarity, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank and welcome our comrades from the DKP, the German Communist Party, for today's joint commemoration of the great revolutionary Friedrich Engels. We applaud and welcome your efforts for the fight for socialism in Germany, and we hope you enjoy today's meeting.
Comrades, Engels was and still is an absolute giant. In his brilliant Condition of the Working Class in England, he wrote, "I accuse the English bourgeoisie before the entire world of murder, robbery and other crimes on a massive scale." He was restless, inquisitive, and a productive and passionate architect of scientific socialism. He understood the modern state was merely a front for bourgeois class interests. The growth of finance capital, the instability of capitalism, its inevitable crises, and its absolute decline. He was a great man. Thank you.